hey Wes, so I want to buy this house, but my realtor says I have to go with no financing condition. And if I don't get this house, I'll never get a house for the rest of my life. Can I do it? Stick around. And one question that keeps popping up is, can I buy this home with no conditions? Now, this is not going to be a rant. This is going to be an educational video for those looking to purchase a home, those who have been through this situation before. And I'm trying to give you a perspective from the finance side, even the real estate side. And for those who haven't been part of this, I'll give you a perspective from the client side. So it is not an easy question to answer. Can I buy this home with no financing condition? There are just so many variables that come into play that I can't answer that question, and I'll dive into that. But you have a real estate agent for a reason. Real estate agents buy or help you buy and help you sell homes. That is their job, right? So when a realtor says to you, you're going to have to go in this with no conditions, that's not telling them you have to buy this house and you have to do this. This does not absolve you of any risk. What the realtor is trying to tell you is, in this particular climate, if you want this home, your best chance of getting this home, if that's what you, the buyer, wants, is to go with no conditions. They're not saying throw caution to the wind and who gives a rip. They're saying, in this environment, this is what you're going to have to do. So then they're doing their job. They're telling you how to get this property. Okay, you get to take that information in and do with it what you will. Okay, then you call the broker and you say, I need to buy this home, but my realtor says I cannot have any conditions. Understand where we're coming from. Okay, that doesn't mean anything to me. That is the real estate agent doing the real estate agent's job. And when you come to me and say, can I buy this house with no conditions? And I say to you, well, do you have, first off, my question is always, hey, do you have 20% down? Because if you don't have 20% down, what that means is we now have to get a bank approval and we have to get CMHC's approval. Once CMHC is involved, all bets are off. I have zero control. Yes, I can pick up the phone and call CMHC, but I can't pick up the phone and call CMHC. And when I say CMHC, for those who don't know, CMHC is the default insurer. So they are the insurance company that insures the bank's money. So if you have less than 20% down, you have to get a default insurer, and there are 3 of them. We will use CMHC in this video because it's the most commonly known. You can't send the listing to CMHC and say, would you insure this property? We don't have that luxury. If you have 10% down and you want to buy a house that's maybe $100,000 over asking, I can't tell you whether or not that's going to be approved because you're paying $100,000 more than it's worth. CMHC and the bank care about value. They care about how much money they're loaning versus the value in comparison to the value of the home. So while I understand what you're saying, and I understand the question thoroughly because I hear it often, I don't have that answer for you. Now, if you have 20% down, I can tell you, well, here's your worst case scenario. If you're okay with your worst case scenario, then you can make that call. But I can promise you this, buying a home does not absolve you of any risk. Having a broker, a mortgage broker on your team and having a real estate agent on your team will mitigate that risk tremendously. It will not allow you to make stupid decisions and buy a house, because you have FOMO and you have to buy it and you're worried. A real estate agent is going to educate you on the property, and then I will educate you on the finance. And understanding your options and your risks is massive. So it doesn't absolve you, though, of any risk. You have to take that risk on yourself. Now, understand this. If you come to me and say, Wes, if I don't buy this house, I'll never get a house ever in my life. My family will never buy a house. Think about that for 1 second. You're now not asking me if you can go in with no conditions. You're telling me if you don't say yes, Wes, I'll never buy a home. That is a ton of pressure to put onto an individual, especially if you have 5% down. I don't get to make that call. All I can do is educate you on the risks, and all I can educate you is on all your options, and then you have to make that call. So I will tell clients, listen, you have a phenomenal application. As it sits right now, the purchase price that you want to buy, you have been pre-qualified to buy up to that amount. I can't foresee any issues in your particular application with you, the covenant. That's what I can tell you. But I can't say, yes, go ahead and buy that house with no conditions. You come back and say, oh, by the way, agent said I had to go another $30,000 over list price. Okay, well now what happens is you paid for 130 over list. CMHC says, well, we don't support that value. We're only supporting 80 over list. And now you have to come up with $50,000. But you're not worried because it's all on me now because Wes said it was okay. No, I didn't. I did not say it was okay. I said you, the covenant, are good. But as we mentioned in another video, you are only 50% of the equation. You have to have the other 50%. And CMHC does not do pre-approvals. They will not look at the property. Can you imagine for a minute in this market, all the buyers who have put in offers and lost, which is hundreds and hundreds, thousands, if CMHC reviewed every single file that came through and then didn't go through, they would be backed up for months and months and months because they're looking at deals that never went through. They're reviewing applications, which takes a few hours, that never went through. So they do not review they say, listen, when you have a deal, come to me. Until then, don't come to me. So the question, what I'm trying to convey here is that we don't have the power to say yes or no 100%. Nobody does. Your bank doesn't, I don't, your agent doesn't, and even CMHC can't. Because if CMHC says yes, sometimes the bank says, well, we're not touching it either. You have to take the risk. Now, having a broker and an agent will mitigate that risk tremendously by giving you all the advice and all your options. But please, when you say, if I put conditions, I don't get the home. Okay, that's not up to me. I'm not buying a home. I'm trying to help you get in that home however I can. But that's not a risk that I'm willing to take. I'm not willing to take, if I have one client, if I have 100 clients and they also ask me the same question, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that 100 families are relying on my decision that I only had 50% of the information on. I can't do it. So you have to take on the risk, and now, if you have no idea what the risks are and you go blindly in and go, I'm going firm, no conditions, and I have CMHC, that's up to you. Like, again, these are your decisions. I hope that people will come to me and say, can I go with no conditions? And I can run them through the gamut of all the risks and all their options and what their plan B is and plan C is. And if at that point they go, you know what, I'm willing to take the risk, then let's do it. I'm with you. But to say, if I don't get this house, I'll never get a house, so you have to say yes. You're not actually asking me the question. You're just wanting me to take on the risk. You're wanting brokers to say, or banks to say, yes. Then you can go buy it with no risk, and when it comes back, 200,000 over list, and the bank says no, you have someone to point the finger at. I get it. Trust me, I get it. But it's not a scenario that you want to find yourself in. So lean on your real estate agent for value. If you say, Wes, is this going to work? And I say, I have no idea what the value is. Lean on your agent. That's exactly what they're there for. Is the house worth what I'm paying for it? If they say yes, lean on them for that. If you ask your real estate agent, hey, can I be approved for this financially? They're going to say, I have no idea. Talk to your mortgage broker. So conversely, I'll say, I don't know if I can get you approved because I don't know what the value of the home is. So you have to lean on them. If you say, hey, my agent says there's no problem with this value, I can say, okay, great. Well, then on you, the person, you're great. And you have 20% down. So worst case scenario is this. You may have to pay a higher rate if shit hits the fan. Then that's a risk you get to assess and go, yeah, I'm going for it. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify a few things that we will do whatever we can to get you in that house. Understand, I want you in that house. I want your business. There's no scenario where I'll ever say to you, I don't want this. I don't care if you get into your house. We care. We want you in that house. We feel your stress and we want you in that house. But I am unwilling to say at all costs because it's a detriment to you. If I say yes and you can't get it, I put you in a real world of trouble. All because I wanted to say yes. I don't want to be a dream killer. I want to say yes. So understand when you do say no conditions and there are risks and you must understand them and you must assess them and you must accept them on your own, because otherwise it could be a real problem, especially now. So there's my education / rant, I guess it ended up being, on the no conditions. If you ever have questions about mortgages, mortgage conditions, the real estate climate, how to get into a property, how to get into investment properties, give us a shout. Hit us up, mortgages@westpauls.com. You can hit us up on our Facebook page, mortgageteacher.com, westpauls.com. In any event, just get in touch with us and we'd be happy to help you and walk you through this home buying process. We'll talk to you soon.